And if you remember, this is my computer's current IP address. So it has identified, obviously it knows the decimal IP. It has converted that into the host name, which in this case is the same IP itself. The ISP is Bharti Airtel, and the type of connection is wireless broadband, and the country is India, state is Maharashtra, city is Mumbai, and the exact map of that IP address has also been displayed. So similarly, instead of this IP, you could type some other IP as well. So I'm just going to type some random IP address. Basically, you can just practice any kind of IP address, type it into this particular software, and it'll try to find out the exact location of that IP address. So that is a lookup software for you. Practice it, play around with it. It's a lot of fun. There's another interesting software in whatismyipaddress.com which says trace email software. So it allows you to find out the email address, the source of an email that you've received. So all you have to do is copy the email headers of an email that you've received and paste them into this particular field, and then click on Get Source. So let us actually try this out. I copy this email header into this particular field, and I click on Get Source. Let's see whether it's able to get me the source of the email. So if you notice, it's kind of identified the source. The email was sent from this Amazon email server, and the source IP address is the following. And it has traced the particular IP address, and it seems like that the email that was sent to me has been sent from Netherlands. So imagine, it took me literally less than a minute. Once I've received an abusive email, all I need to do is open up the email headers of that email, copy paste them into this whatismyipaddress.com's trace email software, and click on Get Source. It did some analysis on the email header, and if you notice, it has identified the same IP address that we had manually identified earlier. Earlier in today's lecture, we had manually analyzed the email header, identified the same IP address, and it has then traced that IP address to Netherlands. So I can zoom in as well into this location further. So it's a city called Dronten or something like that. So that is how you can trace an IP address back to its sender. So that concludes 4 different techniques that you can use to find out somebody else's IP address. I'd like to quickly recap. The first technique is you send an email to the victim, and in that email you can use a tracking image or a tracking file attachment. Second technique is the victim sends an email to you, and you analyze the email headers and find out the IP address of the sender. The third technique is you basically create a tracking link to maybe some YouTube video, or say maybe some article, or some cricket website or whatever, or some music website. Any kind of link can be created. You send it to the victim clicks on the link, they think that they're going to the YouTube website or the music website, but in reality their IP address will get recorded, and they will be sent to that YouTube website and the music sharing website. The final technique is, of course, you create a website, blog or web page, and on that website, blog or web page, you host the IP logger app or IP logger tracking image, invite the victim to visit your website, and as soon as they visit your website, secretly in the background, their IP address will get recorded. There is a very interesting command which I like to talk a little bit about right now, called netstat-n. Netstat-n allows you to find out the IP address of all the computers that you currently have a direct connection with. So let's quickly see a demonstration of this. So to use netstat-n, you need to open up MS-DOS or the command line prompt. So to open command line prompt, you got to click on start and type CMD, and you can actually open up the command line prompt, which is the MS-DOS prompt. The latest versions of Windows don't even come with MS-DOS. So if you're using a newer version of Windows, then this may not actually even be part of your Windows. So if you notice, even on my computer, the netstat-n command, the first couple of times for some reason it did not work, but now if you notice, it's shown me an output, and if you analyze the output, there are 4 columns. You can ignore the first column. The second column is basically showing your computer's IP address. So if you ever want to find out your computer's IP address, you can just type netstat-n, and if you notice that IP address 182.73.202.140 has been displayed. And in the third column, which is a foreign address column, all the IP addresses of remote computers with whom you have a direct connection right now have been displayed. And the final column is the state of the connection, right? And all the connections are currently in the established state. As simple as that. So netstat-n is fabulous if you want to analyze all kinds of information about the computers with whom you have a direct connection at any given point of time. And the command is netstat -n. So there has to be a space between dash and netstat. There's another very interesting software called TCP View. TCP View. And a similar software called CurPorts or current ports. TCP View and current ports. So let me actually give a demonstration to all of you of TCP View. I hope I have it installed on my computer. Alright, there you go. So I believe this is the TCP View software. Let's wait for it to open up on my computer. And what the TCP View software does is, it actually gives a graphical map of all the applications that are running on your computer, all the ports that it opened on your computer, and the remote connections that each application established. So if you look at the screen, the first column tells me that Google Chrome has opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 connections, and under the remote address column, it shows me all the IP addresses of the remote computers with whom there is a connection that has been established. So if you notice, all the IP addresses of the remote computers have been displayed. So this is again a great software that allows you to find out the IP address of a remote computer with whom your system has a direct connection. And the name of the software is TCP View. A similar software is Current Ports or CurPorts. Both of them are available as a free download on the internet. So that was TCP View, and now this is Current Ports or CurPorts. So now that you know how to find out somebody else's IP address, let's talk a little bit about how to trace an IP address to its exact geographical location. And we have already seen one very interesting website that allows you to trace an IP address to its exact location. And the website address, let me show it to you again, is whatismyipaddress.com. And then you click on IP lookup. And then in the space provided, you can type any IP address that you want to trace and click on lookup IP address, and it will trace that IP address to its exact geographical location. As simple as that. So along with that, there's another website known as visualroot.visualware.com, which allows you to do something similar. Not only can you trace the exact location of an IP address using this website, you can also test your bandwidth, test connectivity, and things like that. You can also test the presence of a firewall using this particular website. Similarly, there are software that you can download from the internet that allow you to trace an IP address to its exact location. You have software like Path Analyzer Pro. Then you have NeoTrace, which is now being renamed to Visual Tracer or Visual Trace. Then 3D Traceroute, and Laureate Pro, and GeoSpider, and finally vTrace. So there are a bunch of different software. You have vTrace, GeoSpider, Laureate Pro, 3D Traceroute, Visual Tracer, NeoTrace, Path Analyzer Pro. And all these tools allow you to do one thing, which is to trace an IP address to its exact geographical location. Now, all these tools that I've mentioned are actually nothing but the graphical user interface or the GUI versions of a very old MS-DOS command called tracert. So MS-DOS comes with this command called tracert, which allows you to trace an IP address as well. So let me actually give a demonstration of tracert to all of you. So you type tracert space followed by any IP address or website address, and it will try to trace the exact geographical location of that particular IP address. Or essentially it is tracing the path followed by data packets when they are sent from your machine to the remote machine. So in this case I have typed google.com. So right now if you notice, the tracert command is trying to trace the path between your machine, that is actually my machine right now, and google.com. So this is what the tracert command does, and most of the software that I mentioned to you earlier are nothing but visual versions of the same command. So you've just seen how to trace an IP address to its exact location. Let us now see how you can trace a mobile phone to its exact geographical location. So there's a very interesting website known as trace.bharatiyamobile.com. I repeat, trace.bharatiyamobile.com. Now what this particular website does is, actually it's very simple what this website does. Let me open it up for all of you. If you have a particular mobile number with you, and you want to find out where that which city or which state that number belongs to, all you got to do is type that number into this space provided. So let me just type some random number. That is not my number. I've just typed some random number, and I click on trace or khoj, and within a few seconds Bharatiya Mobile, the website, will basically tell you the exact location and the operator of that particular number. So I know that, okay, the person who is been calling me up is a Delhi based number, and it is an Airtel, the operator is Airtel. So it doesn't tell me the current location of that person, because maybe the person has a connection from Delhi but is calling me from Bhopal or Lucknow or Calcutta or somewhere else. So this website will only tell me the city or the state where that particular number has been registered, and it tells me the operator to which this number has been registered. But it does not tell me the location of the person currently, because if roaming is activated, the person could be in anywhere in the world. To find out the current location of a person who is calling you, you need to take police help. Only if you have a FIR lodged with the police, the police can easily use the triangulation method, because at any given point of time your cell phone is connected to multiple cell towers. So using that, the approximate location of the person who is calling you can easily be found out by the police and by the operators. But individuals like you and me cannot do that. But let me change this scenario slightly. Imagine that you have lost your mobile phone. Somebody has stolen your mobile phone. Then what do? How do you find out the location of your mobile phone? So there is a very interesting software called Lookout. Lookout is available as a free download from lookout.com, and it is currently available for both Android and for iPhones. And once it is installed on your phone, let's assume somebody steals your phone, or you forgot your phone on a train or in a rickshaw or a taxi, and you're worried where your phone went. So what do? So you can actually just use any computer to log on to lookout.com. And once you log into your account, you can use Lookout to trace your mobile phone. So to be very honest, this morning when I left my house and came to the recording studio to record this AFCA lecture for you, I've actually lost my mobile phone. And now I don't know where my mobile phone is. And it's a very expensive mobile. All my data, photographs, videos, messages, contact numbers, everything is there on that mobile. So I want to trace it. So what do? So I'm going to use this laptop to connect to lookout.com. So if you notice, I have connected to lookout.com. I click on login, and it will ask me to enter my username and password. Obviously, you should remember your username and password, otherwise you won't be able to do much. So I enter my username, I enter my password. Hopefully I remember the correct password. I click on login, and within a few seconds I have successfully managed to log into my Lookout account. So if you notice, you can see two devices are registered to my account, my iPad and my Android phone. So I have lost my Android phone. So let me try to identify the location of that phone. So I click on this map button below the Android name, and now if you notice, it is trying to locate the exact location of my phone. So give it a few minutes while it tries to locate the last known location of my phone. And if you notice, it says we have found your phone, and it has actually identified on a map the exact location of my phone. And it is actually in LBS Marg. There is a corporate park called Damodar Park, and this green dot is my phone. And the funny thing is, I am also at this location. That means I have not lost my phone. It must be somewhere in my bag, but I still can't find it. So another great feature in this Lookout app is that you can set off a loud alarm on your phone. So you can make your phone scream. So a lot of times what happens is, you lose your phone inside your house and you can't find it. And it is a waste of time, because you're searching in every room of your house, but actually the phone is just, between two cushions of your sofa. So how do you set off a loud alarm to, number one, scare somebody who has stolen your phone, or number two, just to find out where your phone exactly is once you have identified the location? So let us see if I'm able to do this. I press the screen button, and hopefully my phone, there will be a loud alarm that is set off. So let's wait for a few minutes. So if you notice, you can hear some kind of alarm, and let me show it to you. So this is my phone from where the alarm is coming, and it is also setting off some kind of, showing some signal that the alarm has been set off, and this volume will keep increasing. and it will keep ringing for almost a minute. So that is the beauty of this particular. I can stop it from running by just clicking on the Lookout's website. So not only can you trace the exact phone, you can even set off an alarm. So you find out the location, you can set off the alarm. Not only that, you can even remotely lock your phone. So imagine that you find that when you trace the location of your phone, you find that somebody has stolen it and they're running away, they're leaving the city with your phone. So you know that you cannot recover your phone at all. So at least your data will be secure. So you can press the lock button to lock your phone, or you can remotely wipe or erase all data from your phone. So that you know that, okay, your phone is lost, you can at least buy a new phone, but most importantly, your confidential secret data remains secure. Nobody can misuse the data. Just press the wipe button and automatically, remotely, the data will get erased. So you may not be able to find your phone or recover your phone in some occasions or in some scenarios, but at least your data on it remains safe. So that is the Lookout app. It is currently available both for Android phones, Android tablets, and also iOS tablets, that is iPad, and also iPhone. If you're using Android, then you can also use the Android Device Manager app to remotely find the location of your phone. So all you got to do is, as long as you have registered your Android phone to a Gmail account, which most of us would have, just Google Android Device Manager and click on the first link or the first result. It will ask you to enter your password and log into your account once, so that it is actually you and no criminal tries to find out the location of your phone. And if you notice, it is now trying to locate my phone. It's saying contacting your device. Hopefully this works. You have to wait for a few minutes while it tries to find the location of my phone. Sometimes, it takes longer. Sometimes it does not work. But in case you've lost your phone, this is a very good option to try out. Even sometimes you may not have Lookout installed on your phone. Even without Lookout installed on your phone, you can make use of this particular app. So if you notice, it's saying location not found. So don't worry, you just have to refresh it. Now if you notice, within a few seconds, it has found the location of my phone. It says LBS mark, literally the same location that it was found earlier using Lookout. But this time it's a Google map, so it is more detailed, so more information has been displayed. I can make my device ring. It will ring at full volume for 5 minutes. So let's click on the ring button, and so if you notice, my phone has started ringing, and I've obviously switched it off now so that the ring kind of stops, or I've muted the ring. There you go, the ring goes off again. So that's the beauty of, and I'm not able to switch this off this time. So that's the beauty of this ring option. You can actually find out where the exact location of your phone is. I had to literally switch off my phone for this to stop ringing. You can even remotely lock your phone. You can even remotely erase all data from your phone. So even if you do not have Lookout installed, as long as you're using an Android phone, you can use the Android Device Manager software, which is a free software, which is enabled by default on your phone, as long as you have registered your phone with Gmail, which almost every Android user does. Then you can find out the location, set off an alarm, lock your phone, and even erase data from your phone. So with that, we pretty much come to the end of the first lecture of the AFCH course. In this lecture, I'd like to quickly recap. I gave you an introduction of what hacking is all about, the various steps followed by a hacker. We then discuss what exactly is an IP address. We discuss how to find out somebody else's IP address. I gave you live demonstrations of that technique. We discussed 4 main different techniques of finding out somebody else's IP address. One is you send an email to the victim. 2, the victim sends an email to you. 3, what was the third one? You send a tracking link to the victim. And 4, you create a web page, website, or blog and invite the victim to connect to it. And in the final segment, we had discussed how to trace an IP address to its exact geographical location. And we also saw how you can trace a lost or stolen mobile phone to its exact geographical location, how you can set off an alarm on it, how you can erase all data from it, or how you can lock it as well. So I hope all of you enjoyed the first session of the AFCH, or the first lecture of the AFCH course. This was just the beginning. This was the basic fundamental lecture. The next lecture onwards, we'll be discussing more advanced topics. We have in total 32 hours of lectures, maybe slightly more, depending on when you join the course. I hope all of you enjoyed this first lecture, and trust me, the next few weeks are going to be extremely, extremely exciting. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. This is Ankit Fadia signing off.